Are they really yours? Or are they part of a system designed to keep you trapped in a hamster wheel, chasing a reward that never comes? Think about this. How many times have you felt fulfilled, only to realize minutes later that the emptiness is still there? You eat what you crave, watch what entertains you, buy what makes you happy. But there's always a but, a void that never disappears. That is the hidden cost of pleasure in the modern world. Aldous Huxley saw it coming. He didn't imagine a future of brutal repression, but a dictatorship of pleasure. A system where prisoners love their chains because they believe they are decorations. And the worst part is, it works. Why is it so hard for you to sit in silence with yourself? Why does a single moment of boredom feel like torture? It's not a coincidence. It's the result of meticulous programming, instant gratification, endless entertainment, ultra-processed food, pornography, social media, all designed to make you believe you're enjoying yourself when, in reality, you're just being domesticated. But here's the problem. Nothing in this world is free. What seems like a gift is actually a transaction, and the product is you. Every time you eat something sugary, your brain releases dopamine. You feel good. But then the crash comes, and you need more. Not because you truly need it, but because you've been programmed to crave it. The same happens with social media. A video, an image, a comment, a dopamine hit. But it vanishes in seconds, and you need another, and another, and another, until your attention is shattered into pieces so small that you can no longer focus on anything. We've been led to believe that pleasure equals happiness, but it doesn't. Happiness grows over time. Pleasure fades in seconds. And here's the trick. The more dependent you become on pleasure, the less capable you are of finding happiness. Huxley warned us, it won't be necessary to force us because we will learn to love our servitude. They will give us pleasure in precise doses to keep us docile, distracted, controllable. And the worst part is that when someone tells us this to our face, we won't even want to escape. Look around you. How many people can disconnect from instant gratification? How many can endure silence, effort, patience? We live in a society that traded effort for shortcuts, discipline for distraction, purpose for cheap pleasure. And the worst part is that they've convinced you this is how it's supposed to be. Every time you can't put down your screen, every time you need another bite of junk food, every time fast entertainment is more appealing than your own growth, it's not you. It's the system that trained you to chase rewards without noticing the price you pay for them. And the price isn't money. It's your mind, your ability to think, your patience, your resilience, your willpower. The real slavery isn't the one imposed with chains, but the one you accept without realizing it. Aldous Huxley understood it before anyone else. You are not controlled by force, but by your desires. But the question is, are you going to keep paying that price? Or better yet, are you going to stop? Because freedom was never free. And in a world where everyone has been trained to chase pleasure instead of meaning, the most revolutionary act is to take back your ability to resist, to say no. But is that decision really yours? Think about this. When was the last time you experienced pleasure without guilt? And when was the last time you enjoyed something without feeling the need to repeat it compulsively? That's what they've done to us. They've conditioned us to believe that pleasure equals happiness. But what they've really given us is addiction. Addiction to everything that keeps us distracted. Because pleasure has an enemy, the void, and the void is unbearable for the modern mind. We can't tolerate it. We don't know what to do with it. If there's a moment of silence, we fill it with noise. If there's a second of calm, we drown it in content. If we feel even a hint of discomfort, we numb it with food, with dopamine, with more distractions. We do anything except face the most dangerous question of all. What would happen if I just stopped? If you stop consuming constant stimuli, something unsettling happens. The real you emerges. Not the version edited for social media, not the one fueled by instant gratification, but the version you've ignored for years. And that version isn't always comfortable, because in silence you uncover what truly bothers you. You confront your insecurities, your fears, your weaknesses. And here's the most terrifying part. You realize that pleasure was never the solution, just a temporary escape. Aldous Huxley predicted this with chilling accuracy. In Brave New World, citizens were programmed to consume pleasure through soma, a drug that erased any trace of discomfort or questioning. No wars, no conflicts, just a humanity lost in euphoric lethargy, incapable of seeing its own prison. That's exactly what we live in today. We don't have soma, but we have limitless entertainment, food engineered for addiction, social media that simulates human connection without offering anything real. And every time we feel something is wrong, instead of facing the problem, we simply increase the dose. They've turned us into consumers of ourselves, and we don't even realize it. We're willing to pay with our energy, our mental health, and our autonomy just for the illusion that pleasure will erase discomfort. And here's the darkest truth. It never does. It only hides it, postpones it, disguises it, and when it returns, it hits even harder. That's why there's more anxiety than ever, more depression, more dissatisfaction, because instant gratification isn't a solution, it's a distraction. We've become dependent on it, yet we feel emptier than ever. How many times have you felt that wave of sadness after indulging in something pleasurable? That moment when, after finishing your favorite show, you feel like something is missing. When you eat exactly what you craved, yet something still feels off. When you spend hours on social media, only to feel like you've gained nothing. It's not a coincidence. It's the system working exactly as designed. The problem is that by the time you realize this, for many, it's already too late. Because dopamine doesn't just make you feel good, it binds you. It's the hormone of reward, but also the hormone of conditioning. Every time you receive pleasure without effort, you reinforce the habit of seeking more. And the more you seek, the less you can enjoy what you already have. Because pleasure tolerance works like any other addiction. What once satisfied you is no longer enough. And so, the chase never ends. That is the real price of pleasure in the modern world. It's not paid with money. It's paid with the deterioration of your ability to enjoy real life, with the inability to feel satisfaction without external stimuli, with the erosion of your willpower, with the gradual disappearance of your identity. Because when everything you consume is designed to make you feel good effortlessly, you lose connection with who you really are. And that is exactly what they want. They don't want someone who questions. They don't want someone who resists. They don't want someone who can sit in silence without feeling the need for a distraction. They want you to depend, to need, to keep chasing that fleeting pleasure without realizing that, in the pursuit, you lose yourself. But here's the most terrifying part. Pleasure is not the enemy. Dopamine is not bad. The problem isn't pleasure itself, but how you use it. If pleasure is the reward for something you've built with effort, it strengthens you. If pleasure is an escape to avoid discomfort, it destroys you. Think about this. The best things in life require patience. Building a strong body takes time. Learning a skill requires discipline. Developing deep relationships demands effort. But none of these things offer an instant reward. They don't generate immediate dopamine. They don't give you pleasure right away. And that's why we avoid them. Because the modern mind has been conditioned to prefer the quick over the valuable, the immediate over the meaningful. But there is a way out, and it's brutal. It means learning to tolerate the void. It means learning to be uncomfortable without seeking refuge in easy pleasure. It means reclaiming control over your attention. And that doesn't happen in a day. There's no quick fix. There's no magic pill. It means sitting in silence and listening to your anxiety without suppressing it. It means resisting the urge for instant gratification and learning to enjoy the process instead of just the outcome. It means abandoning comfort and facing the reality that pleasure, when it's free, always comes at a hidden cost. That is the path few take, because it requires a strength most have lost. But here's the secret. The ability to resist immediate gratification is the foundation of any real achievement. Any success, any great work. Anyone who has changed their life has faced this same dilemma. Will I be a slave to my pleasure or the architect of my destiny? Aldous Huxley saw this coming, and now so do you. The question is, what will you do with this truth? Will you keep consuming without questioning, or will you dare to challenge the programming? The answer to that question defines more than you think. It defines whether you are free or just another piece of the system. The choice is yours. Or at least, it should be. But here's the real question. Now that you know, what will you do with this information? Because seeing it isn't enough. Understanding it changes nothing if you keep acting the same way. The system doesn't collapse just because you've discovered it. Your mind isn't freed just because you understand the trap. The only way to break the cycle is to make the decision that almost no one makes. Resist. Resist the urge for instant gratification. Resist the need to be constantly stimulated. Resist the temptation of what is easy, comfortable, instant. Because quick pleasure is a hook. But freedom is a weapon, and only those who dare to wield it responsibly can truly own their destiny. Look around. Most won't do it. They will keep consuming without questioning. They will keep trading their time, their energy, and their ability to think for one more dose of dopamine. And when they realize it, when they wake up from this collective hypnosis, it might be too late, but you still have a choice. And it's now or never. Because if you don't decide today to take back control of your mind, when will you? Tomorrow? Next week? When you feel ready? Let me tell you something. The perfect moment doesn't exist. Either you make the decision today, or you stay trapped in the same cycle for the rest of your life. So tell me, what will you do? If you've made it this far, If you've listened to every word and you're still watching this video, I want you to do something. Go to the comments and write, "I own my mind," because that means you didn't just listen. You're ready to take action. And if this video made you think, if it made you question yourself even for a second, make sure to subscribe. Because this isn't the usual content designed to distract you. Here, we are here to wake up, to understand, to face the truth that few dare to see. I'll see you in the next video. But remember, change doesn't begin when you listen to me. Change begins when you decide to act.